Howdy. Welcome to the one-man revolution. Many asses. This is the Adriatic Sea. Is it the Carpathian? I'm not really sure what's the mountain range name. Maybe it has many names since it's so long. I try to draw it in a way onto the windy. There's another S. Just chiral in comparison to the mountain range. I don't know if you can say it like that, but I just said it. Chirality, a very important word. The surface conductivity anomaly of Scandinavia, and a rock with an S shape, and of course a dragon. But anyway, I was just playing around once and I found this picture, so I just shared it. But now to maybe something interesting. Earthquakes. There has been a quake in Switzerland, near Biel, near Chasseral. I have been on that mountain. We had to crawl up there in the army. It sucked. It was a really bad day. I hate walking. That's why I rode bikes. Anyway, 6 hours ago, 1.9, but 25 kilometers in depth. Very interesting. Especially if you just look at the lake itself. It has this kind of, what is it in English? German. Niemi in Finnish. It's not an island, it's almost an island. You see, you can walk there. I don't know if it has always been like that. No, it hasn't. Saint Peter Island. There's a Holy Peter involved in the thing. There has been a monastery there. And there is still, like that's the old monastery. You can put your bike there. 333. Get it? You're in good hands there. So I assume there is water somewhere on the island. Yeah, of course, it's the water from the lake. But there might be just other water as well, because that's actually a rather old place. I don't know if you can find it here on Google Earth, but that's the island. It's rather green. Wine is growing, so the monks were happy. Pavilion? This might be a protection for a water source, after all. Maybe not on first glance, maybe not today anymore, because back in the days, geothermal activity was different than it is nowadays. Why I cannot click on anything here? Server error. So now, Wikipedia St. Peter Island is a peninsula. This was the word I was searching for. Yes, you see, already it was worth checking out Wikipedia. A peninsula, near me. But I still don't remember what it would be in German or French. Anyway, in former island and former island is a peninsula and former island. So it hasn't been on. Situation in Lake Biel in the canton of Bern, Switzerland. It has a length of about 5 kilometers above the sea. When the Rhone Glacier reached as far as the Jura Mountains, it was formed in the last ice age. It is a promontory of the Joliment above Erlach. Politically, the island is split between the municipalities of Erlach and Tuscherz. Anyway, let's go to the history. This region is called the Seeland, the Lake Land. It's very beautiful. It's a rather relaxed place to be. The Priory. The former Priory building is listed as Swiss Heritage Site of National Significance. It was founded in 1107 years, when Count Wilhelm III of Bourgogne-Magon gave his lands in Belmont and on the island, at the time known as the Island of the Counts. The Cluny Abbey, a small monastery, was built on the island, possibly on the site of an earlier church. Traces of Merovingian graves and Carolingian wooden monastery and an abandoned 11th century basilica have been discovered near the current building. The small priory had at most 5 monks in residence and may have had an additional rooms for travelers. But there was something about the Romans. Why isn't it here? It would be important. Because where the Romans set foot, there must have been warm water, because they really like to bath in warm water. So it would be an important clue, but obviously it's not written here. Do we find anything from here? An error has occurred. Okay. So then. But anyway, believe me or not, somewhere I was reading something about the Romans being there earlier. Moments will remain the cost of Burgundy passing the sailing, and was focused, and we are already in the 1400s. But anyway, let's just assume that the Romans have been there, and there has been, once upon a time, much different geothermal activity, hence probably warm water or something special. Maybe the island is growing after all. I don't know yet. But the goal is geothermal energy for Macklingen. For this, we go quickly back to Google Earth. Here is the island, the monastery. Let's put off the pictures. And somewhere here is Macklingen. There is quite some sports stuff going on there. Yeah. I would have had the possibility to go there and have like this kind of sporty army time, like being a sportsman. I would have had the possibility, but I didn't tell them anything about that. I didn't want to, because it would have meant the time spending in army would have been much longer, and I didn't want to be there at all. So that's why I didn't tell them anything. I dismissed the opportunity. But anyway, it's not far. Macklingen. Measure quickly. Approximately here at point to the island. 10 kilometers. Same shore. The federal government is investigating the subsoil under 13 Zeeland municipalities. The Zeeland lakeland is where there are several lakes. This is just one. There are three. Anyway, in autumn, a major underground investigation will start in Zeeland. The federal government is looking for warm water that could heat the Macklingen Sports Center, which has links to the army. Just say updated. Is that summer? Yes. In the summer, so that's not too old. On this map, unfortunately, our island we just watched is not visible. It's here in the corner somewhere, but we are talking about the same lake. This autumn, the federal government is having large-scale investigations of the subsoil carried out in 13 Zeeland municipalities. The federal government wants to find out where hot water can be found that could heat the building of the National Sports Center in Macklingen. As the Federal Office for Buildings and Logistics, Biel, announced on Wednesday, the investigations will start in the second half of October according to the current planning status. 3 vibro vehicles will generate waves at more than 3,000 measuring points for around 3 to 4 weeks. They look very interesting. They are very interesting vehicles. 3 to 4 vibrations are triggered per measuring point. 2,500 measuring devices record the results. A single vibration lasts around 30 seconds, is audible, and is felt as a vibration within the close radius of around 50 meters. According to the federal government, these vibrations do not represent major burden for humans, animals, or the environment. Humans. In inhabited areas, measurements are usually taken between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. according to the Biel. Such investigations have never been carried out for a geothermal project in the canton of Bern. The approximately 30 square kilometers study area also includes 4 square kilometers of Lake Biel, in which our island is. Geothermal energy instead of gas. Last autumn, the Biel announced that it intended to heat the buildings of the Federal Office of Sport above Biel with geothermal energy. If this succeeds, CO2 emissions will drop by more than 90%. Most buildings today would be heated with gas. At the time, the Biel also wrote that, according to geological reports, warm deep water was to be assumed in the subsoil of Macklingen. However, only detailed investigations and the test drilling would bring certainty. The warm water is believed to be 1,300 meters deep, 1.3 kilometers. Our Quake had a depth of 25 kilometers. And it's not too far from this, where they are measuring geothermal energy. They are measuring somewhere here, and here we have the Quake, and that's the island. At several information events, the Biel informed the executives of the affected communities as well as the landowners by letter. The residents directly affected by the investigations have also been informed in advance. Don't expect earthquakes. After the underground investigation have been completed, the data will be evaluated and assembled into a precise model by summer 2023. It allows to define a drilling target. If the federal parliament approves the financing of the geothermal project, drilling work is expected to begin in 2025. Yeah. Let's see how the world looks in 2025. The geothermal plant will go into operation in 2027 at the earliest. In autumn 2021, the BBL wrote that earthquakes should not be expected with such a system because no pressure is generated in the plutonic rock. A similar system has been in reliable operation in Riehen, Baselstadt since 1994. So, we still have a very deep earthquake. No, it's not very deep. Maybe it's rather deep. And the thing is also, if you zoom closer, you will notice that there is this water vein. Now it's visible easier. But I think it is the same, which comes from here, then it just goes underground and emerges beside this house, back on the surface. And this, of course, is starting up on the hill. As water usually does, it just emerges out of the mountain. What else? And here we have a gorge. We cannot click on it. I won't make any too long video anymore because I think this must be enough. It's all, I think it's very interesting. Just look at the coloration. There seems to be also some peat land on this island. I don't know. This looks in a way peatish. What does that mean? I just found this now. Just really now. There's a water vein drawn on this island. Really? Yes, it is there, obviously. That's very interesting. I just checked this region. There wasn't any. But I bet in those houses is something interesting. But that's quite a find, I think. Such a small island, and there is drawn a water vein for whatever reason. I don't know. But this is an indicator. If there is really this kind of spring well source, or however you want to call it, this would mean that this island is alive. It's not just there weathering, it is alive. Which means it has fluctuations. If there is a water spring source there might be others too, like I said, in those buildings. The output will fluctuate. Sometimes it's almost nothing, and then there could be like the total opposite of it. Like increase in temperature, increase in amount of water, and all this kind of stuff. Very interesting, but I leave it here already again. 20 minutes. Thanks. Bye.